Welcome everyone to BC's Offbeat Bass Gear. I am BC and today we are going to be talking about a piece of offbeat bass gear that is kind of 30 years in the making. The bass in question is this. This is a early 90s PBC, which is essentially a guitar company that was active. PBC and PGC were based in Coopersburg, just north of Quakertown in the Philly suburbs in the 90s. It was run by Dave Bunker. If you're not familiar with Dave Bunker, he is known, he's kind of like Glenn Kwan from Leo Kwan Design. Glenn Kwan did the badass bass bridge, the first kind of adjustable saddle, high mass replacement bass bridge. He did a bunch of guitar bridges too, so he was kind of an innovator, and I think Dave Bunker was in sort of that same vein. Dave Bunker is probably best known for, or most infamous for, the what was known as the Dave Bunker zero tension truss rod system, which is what this bass has, which essentially has, if you can see that there, this very tiny hole at the 17th fret that's like a locking nut, and it is something you either love or hate. You do adjust it just like you would any sort of truss system, but it has a kind of very unique design. I had hoped to kind of go through this bass showing you how to adjust that. People either love it or hate it, but this bass is 30 years old, and after I received it, it really did not need any tweaking. So maybe I'll save that for a later day. But the zero tension neck, the truss system, is really something he's known for. He's also known for pioneering the design of this tailpiece system for basses. It's a fine-tuned system. It's a variation that's still used a great deal. They're single saddles. They're completely adjustable for intonation and height. Unlike most basses, you adjust them through the back. You have these little Allen screws in the back, and that's how you adjust intonation and string height. I really like it. It's a fine-tuning system. It's still utilized a great deal today. It's essentially an improvement over the Steinberger design, which I have on this Hohner headless bass. And I like the licensed Steinberger design a great deal. But the Bunker, I think, is actually a little bit better. And I really do find that a little better on fine-tuning, intonation, and everything else. This is a 5-string fretted bass. There's a little bit of a backstory to this bass that's kind of interesting. I almost bought this bass 30 years ago, actually. When I was looking to buy a 5-string bass, I had a 5-string PV Foundation that was a little too neck heavy for my taste. And I had a choice between getting this and a Rob Allen 5-string fretless, which I did a video on a while ago. And I ended up going with that because I didn't really have a great fretless at the time. And I thought a 5-string would be great to have. But I was very fortunate. This bass came up on eBay. And it was sold by the man who did all the plating for these bridges. He operates a marine plating thing in the Philadelphia area. And this came up, and I was like, well, if I passed on this 30 years ago, I should definitely get it now. It's a fairly conventional design other than the bridge and, as I said, the intonation and the sort of zero tension neck. It utilizes 2 active EMG soap bars, and there's a volume and volume for each and a master tone, and it has a full 2-octave neck. I'm going to sort of take you through this and just give you a sense of what it sounds like. Like I said, I love headless designs. I love stuff that's a little unconventional and a little different. So I'm going to take you through this, and we'll do some fingerstyle, we'll do some thumb slapping. I'm going to be running this through a 90s vintage PV Basic 60. It's a solid state combo with a single 12. I think that's kind of what most bass players are using today anyway. And just to give you a sense of what we have. Really solid finish on this. Like I said, at the time Dave was doing this, he also worked under contract to Ibanez, who had sort of a U.S. custom shop. I think it was in Bensalem or Conshohocken, wherever the Ibanez kind of import facility was. And that was where he was making the Attack series bases, ATK, that also utilized the same oddball sort of zero tension neck. So if you have a zero tension neck, the thing to look for is this little hole here. It's always at the 17th fret, and it allows you to sort of adjust the level of relief. For a bass that's not really been played in 30 years, the neck really did not require any tweaking, so I will not subject you to sort of a walkthrough of that. It utilizes a brass nut and kind of a conventional sort of headless headpiece for this. But I just want to take you through this. Like I said, I really do like this bass. I always wanted to own one, and when this showed up, I went ahead and bought it. We're going to go through it, just a quick run through, and I'm just going to do sort of thumb style, thumb slap, fairly low volumes here, so I hope the mic picks this up pretty well. And just, give you some insight into, Dave Bunker, a guy who was a real guitar innovator that I think sort of sadly overlooked. Unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago, so he's no longer with us. But let me know what you think. I really think this is a very interesting bass. It plays very well. It's not an extremely wide 5-string neck, but it definitely gives you enough room to really motor around on it. Let me take you through it, and let me know what you think. As I said, this is really kind of an interesting design. I just love headless instruments as a rule. It balances very well, and we'll do some, like I said, we'll do some thumb slap, we'll do some finger style. I'll roll off the tone and do a little muted stuff, and just let me know what you think. Okay, so one of the things I do like about this is even though it's a 34-inch scale, the low B is really pretty tight on this. If you listen to that, you're not really getting a lot of flop. It's really pretty tight. And the full 2-octave range is really solid. And the bass slaps really well. I've got everything pretty much set flat on this, and I've got the controls set halfway up. It's really a shame that, Bunker really couldn't keep this company going. There was the PBC bass line, and then there was the PGC guitar line, which are a bit more traditional looking than this. They were only made for a couple of years, and then Dave Bunker went on to do a number of other things. But this was really a kind of a neat design. I think the problem is, this came out really at the tail end of when headless basses were popular. You're in the 90s, you're getting kind of the whole Seattle thing, and bass players were going back to jazz basses and P basses, and headless basses, I think, were just too focused on, looking too advanced, too futuristic, and they got tied into all that 80s stuff. And it's a real shame because this was a really innovative design and had a lot going for it. It balances superbly. And I think it's a testament to the design of these instruments that 30 years on, this thing still plays great. I really did not need to tweak the neck at all. I was going to go through and show how the zero tension neck worked, but it really wasn't required. It's still really rock solid, and I'm very happy with how it's set up. I'd always wanted to own one of these. I had the chance to do it, and it's really a bass I love a lot. So let me know what you think. If you want to know any more about it, I'm always around to answer any questions you might have. So feel free to ask. I am BC, and this is BC's Offbeat Bass Gear. Thanks for joining me. Have a good day, and put any comments, suggestions, or insults in the comments, and I would be very happy to read them and respond. Thanks very much, and have a good day. BC Offbeat Bass Gear.